Jeopardy! Please welcome our contestant. Player one. And now, here is the host of Jeopardy, Alex Brevet.
Thanks, Johnny. Welcome to Jeopardy, everyone. Good luck to you in the Jeopardy round. For this game, the categories are as follows: Tongue Twisters, Animal Farm, From Screen to Stage, Ships, The Southernmost Nation, and Literature à la Seuss. Player one, you start us off. So on again, from Laputa to Glubdub-Grib. I'm giving up something a flub-dub-grib. Yes, player one? That's right, way to go. You get to pick again, player one. No Brontes, just Dantes. Got sent off to Deef. But with Danglers, he had a big beef. Here's what we wanted. The Count of Monte Cristo. Player one, back to you. I sat there with Winston. We sat there, we two. But when busted for thought crime, I knew I was through. Here's the correct response. 1984. We return to you, player one. George said, "No, Lenny, no, I won't get you a guppy. You think I've forgotten what you did to that puppy?" Here's what we were looking for. Of Mice and Men. You get to pick again, player one. Hester looked at the frock. She looked in dismay. Do you have it in something other than A? Here's the correct response. The Scarlet Letter. Please pick again, player one. Mongolia, Malta, Malawi. Let's hear it, player one. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the response we were looking for. Malawi. Please pick again, player one. Portugal, Papua New Guinea, Pakistan. Here's the correct response. Papua New Guinea. We return to you, player one. Syria, Suriname, Sweden. Here's the correct response. Suriname. Player one, choose again. Nepal, Nicaragua, Norway. Here's what we wanted. Nicaragua. You again, player one. India, Indonesia, Iran. We're talking about Indonesia. Please pick again, player one. Before its name was changed, this ship of Sir Francis Drake was known as the Pelican. Here's the correct response. Golden Hind. Please pick again, player one. Answer. It's the Daily Double. And you have the lead. Please enter your wager. All right, here's your clue. Apollo 15's command module was named in honor of this ship commanded by Captain James Cook. Good. You again, player one. On a sailing ship, these can be buntlines, downhauls, or sheets. Yes, player one? Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the response we were looking for. Ropes. Player one, you pick again, please. In 1838, the Sirius became the first steamship to cross this ocean using steam power alone. Okay, player one. Yep. Player one, back to you for our next selection. The submarine USS Nautilus was the first ocean-going vessel to use this form of power. Player one? No, that's not right. We're talking about nuclear power. We return to you, Player one. X marks the spot where the musical, inspired by this Olivia Newton-John film about a roller disco, rolled onto Broadway. Here's the correct response. Xanadu. Please pick again, Player one. In the musical Legally Blonde, blonde ambition takes Elle Woods all the way to this university's law school. Here's what we wanted. Harvard. You again, Player one. A Wonderful Life is a charming musical adaptation of this director's classic film, It's a Wonderful Life. The correct response is Frank Capra. You get to pick again, Player one. A handful of actors play more than 100 roles in The 39 Steps, based on this director's 1935 suspense classic. We're talking about Alfred Hitchcock. Player one, back to you for our next selection. The musical Here's Love was based on this 1947 film in which the real Kris Kringle is hired to work at Macy's. It's Player one. Matthew's got some money again. Please pick again, Player one. Thought to be bad luck by natives, the eye is a lemur, so it's no surprise it's only found here. Okay, Player one. That is correct. Player one, choose again. No laughing matter. In Africa, a dozen of these can reduce a 500-pound zebra to bones in 30 minutes. It's Player one. That's it. Player one. Pick again. The scaly armor that surrounds the armadillo is composed of plates made of this. It's formed by ossification. We're talking about bone. You again, Player one. Here's Jimmy. He'll show you.
In the South, soups, greens, and bean dishes get added flavor from this part of the pig, referred to by an alliterative name.
It's Player one. Right. Player one, choose again. With more than 4,300 species, lizards make up the largest living group of this animal class. Player one?
Yeah.
Right. Player one, pick again. The sawingest saw I ever saw was the saw I saw in this land of opportunity state. Player one? That's not right. The correct response is Arkansas. We return to you, Player one. These animals shouldn't sleep in a shack. These animals should sleep in a shed. Player one?
Yeah.
Hey, you're right. Player one, back to you for our next selection. One of these animals sat on a stump and thunk the stump stunk. Okay, Player one.
Yeah.
Right. Player one, back to you. In Hartford, Hereford, and Hampshire, these windy storms hardly ever happen. Yes, Player one?
Yeah.
That's it. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. She sells seashells by this location. Yes, Player one? Right. The full Jeopardy round will begin right after this. Clues are worth $400 to $2,000 in these categories. In the neck. Double talk. U.S. cities. Anti-war books. Le cinéma. And let's go to Suriname. All right, if you're ready, it's double Jeopardy time. Curly made his woo-woos and nyuk-nyuks in this hollow chamber, also called the voice box. Okay, player one. That's correct. Player one, choose again. In emergencies, this neck operation may be performed with a penknife and the empty shell of a pen. It's player one.
Yeah.
Hey, you're right. Player one, you pick again, please. About 10 inches long, it passes through the neck and goes past the heart, through the diaphragm, and into the stomach. Okay, player one. No. The correct response is the esophagus. Player one, you pick again, please. This gland makes its hormones by combining iodine with the amino acid tyrosine. Here's the response we were looking for. The thyroid gland. We return to you, player one. These arteries carry blood to the head. A blockage in one may lead to an ischemic stroke. Player one? That's not it. Here's the correct response. The carotid arteries. Player one, back to you. In the 1950s, this secret militant movement opposed British rule in Kenya. The correct response is the Mau Mau. Player one, pick again. Mormons settled this city in 1855, but thought it was too much of a gamble and abandoned it in 1857. Here's the response we were looking for. Las Vegas. Please pick again, player one. In this Dalton Trumbo novel, Joe returns home from the war with his body shattered, but his mind intact. The correct response is Johnny got his gun. Select again. The OED defines it as faint or barely audible speech. Okay, player one. That's correct. Player one, back to you. In this ancient Greek play, women deny their husbands bedroom visitation rights until they stop fighting. Here's the correct response. Lysistrata. Player one, back to you. Check it out. It's how I refer to my flashy diamonds and gold chains. It's player one.
Yeah.
That's correct. Player one, back to you for our next selection. A powerful presence in the country is Suralco, part of this giant metals company. The correct response is Alcoa. Please pick again, player one. 45 years before Disney, Jean Cocteau made a live-action version of this film with Josette Day as Belle. It's player one. Yes. You again, player one. About half of Suriname's 439,000 people live in this capital city. Here's what we wanted. Paramaribo. Player one, pick again. Granite works sprung up in and around this state capital, using stone from Bahre, a few miles away. The correct response is Montpelier. Player one, back to you. This star of Chocolat and The English Patient made her film debut in the 1982 French film Liberty Bell. We're talking about Juliette Binoche. Player one, pick again. In a 1667 deal, the English got New York City, and these people got the territory that would become Suriname? Here's the correct response. The Dutch. Player 1. Pick again. This New Mexico artist colony town's pueblo was chosen as a UNESCO World Heritage Site in 1992. Here's what we wanted. Taos. You again, Player 1. This 2001 title role was meant for Emily Watson, but she didn't speak French. Audrey Tautou got the part. The correct response is Amélie. You again, Player 1. Answer, one of the daily doubles. And you have the lead. How much? Answer this. Scandalous 19th century French dance. Sorry, that's wrong. Here's the correct response. The can-can. You get to pick again, Player 1. In a children's song, Dear Little Nellie is way down yonder in this fruit patch. Here's the response we were looking for. The paw-paw. We return to you, Player 1. Jimmy?
If you're feeling a little rocky, run up these stairs to visit this city's museum at Benjamin Franklin Parkway.
It's Player 1.
Yeah!
Good for you. Player 1. Pick again. Oscar the Dwarf revels in the destruction and insanity of Nazi Germany in his The Tin Drum. Here's what we were looking for. Gunter Grass. We return to you, Player 1. Suriname is wedged between Guyana and this dependency. Here's what we wanted. French Guiana. Player 1, you pick again, please. Since many of Suriname's workers come from India, this religion is practiced by almost 30%. Let's hear it, Player 1. The correct response is Hinduism. You get to pick again, Player 1. His All Quiet on the Western Front is a classic of anti-war fiction. The correct response is Eric Maria Remarque. Player 1, choose again. In 1956, Roger Vadim directed his first film, And God Created Woman, which starred this actress, his then wife. Here's the response we were looking for. Brigitte Bardot. Select again. Answer. The other daily double. You are currently in the lead. Player 1, please select your wager. Okay, here is the clue. This director, son of a famous Impressionist painter, is perhaps best known for his 1937 film, Grand Illusion. Right. Player 1, back to you. This American humorist's war prayer about the Spanish-American War was published in 1923, after his death. Here's the correct response. Mark Twain. And we'll wrap up the board with this clue. This Oklahoma city is known for its Art Deco buildings, including the Phillips Oil Philcade. We're talking about Tulsa. Good game. You will participate in Final Jeopardy right after this. Here comes the Final Jeopardy, players. The category is this. Word history. So, what's your wager? Here's the clue for you. This term for a deadly substance may derive from the name of a love goddess. What did you say? And that correct response would add... Congratulations, Player 1.
Yeah!
You're the winner. Good game. Thank you so much for playing.